Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hidden Gems inside Quentin's Vinyl Vault. I'm Quentin Jones, and on tonight's episode we're going to talk about not one but two albums that are often overlooked and underrated. These albums are Jimi Hendrix Midnight Lightning and Jimi Hendrix Crash Landing. Now to me these albums go together. Let me give you a little bit of background story. When Jimi died in 1970, he left behind hours and hours of unfinished music. Eventually, the estate and the record company hired producers to come in and make heads or tails out of it. And they're still releasing this material today. Now, in the early 70s, people did not want to hear unfinished music. Not like today. Today, you can release whole albums of outtakes and alternate mixes and alternate versions. In the 70s, nobody wanted to hear that. So these albums, in kind of a way, were ahead of the time. Today, an artist will go in the studio, sing a few parts, play a couple of licks, go home, and it's the producer's job to finish that record. Not so back in the 70s. In the 70s, you had a band and they worked from beginning to end on every aspect of the record. So they hired Tony Bon Jovi to come in and Alan Douglas to make heads or tails of these tapes. And they noticed that some of the tracks had sloppy drumming or they had a bad rhythm guitar track or something like that. So they brought people in and they overdubbed and they fixed it up and they released two very listenable albums. But there was a backlash. People thought that they were messing with Jimi Hendrix's art. When in fact what they did was they made unfinished music listenable. Now, years later, the original tapes have surfaced. In fact, you can download the unedited original versions of almost all the songs on these records. And if you do, you will agree with me that this representation is awesome and that the job that Alan Douglas and Tony Bon Jovi did was top shelf. Very listenable albums. And there's not one note on here that's Jimi didn't play. All the solos, all the basics, all the vocals. This is all Jimi Hendrix. It's just they overdub some things to make it palatable to a 1974 taste. Now, I first heard both of these albums by my brother. My brother Wendell used to work out in our basement. He had a complete gym down there, and he had an 8-track down there, and he used to get great stuff. He got the Jimi Hendrix Midnight Lightning and Crash Landing. In fact, he introduced me to Hendrix in '67 when he bought Are You Experienced? But also in the early 70s, he woke me up one morning at 3 in the morning. He was up watching TV and the Monterey Pop Festival was on. He said, "Quentin, you got to come downstairs and see this Jimi Hendrix character guy." And I did. And of course, my world was changed. I was in about 7th grade. I love this album, Message to Love. What a great song. Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I don't know if you can find a better blues song out there. Crash Landing, great. Come Down Hard on Me, Baby. That's a song. I love it. I love it. Peace in the Mississippi. Again, amazing guitar work. With the Power. One of my favorite Jimi Hendrix songs of all time. You can hear this on the Jimi Hendrix New Year's Eve album, the live album. But Stone Free Again. I love Stone Free. As a kid, I didn't understand what he was saying. He was saying, "I'm free. I'm stone cold free." What an amazing message. This album's a little darker, Midnight Lightning. It has Machine Gun on it, which is an anti-Vietnam War song. Jimi was under a lot of pressure because he was not political, so this was a political song that he wrote against it. Trash Man. Trash Man and Peace in the Mississippi are actually the same songs. They just cut them in half and they put one on the other, and it works beautifully. Hear My Train A-Comin'. Another way for saying my ship's going to come in someday. No matter how much you put me down, no matter how much you say I'm a this or I'm a that, my ship's going to come in. Again, a great song. Gypsy Boy. That almost will make you cry. It's so pretty. A great version of Blue Suede Shoes. And on this album, a very cool instrumental called Captain Coconut. So listen, these albums I don't think were reissued on CD. Maybe imports, but you can find them at record stores, and I believe you can find the individual tracks. They're hard to find on Spotify and such, but if you have a chance to listen to Jimi Hendrix Midnight Lightning, which when I was in 8th grade I had a belt buckle that had it. I just thought that was so cool with the white Stratocaster and the lightning going. and everything. I just thought that was awesome. And same with this. In fact, I know a friend of mine, she has a tattoo of this bird here on her arm. Anyways, if you get a chance to buy these, borrow them, download them, do it. I'll tell you what, you will thank me, and you will love the material on these albums, and you too will have a hidden gem in your vinyl vault. Till next time, take care of yourselves.